We're watching a little bit more activity trying to develop across the Atlantic basin. Two areas of medium % chance of developing are both Invest 98 and Invest 99. I've also plotted on the computer model forecast. Now note, over the next several days, these are not going to be affecting anyone. 99 will be the one to watch for the islands. Both of those, though, per the long-range models, should stay out in the Atlantic. Not a threat to us. What we're going to be watching closer is this wave, which is now starting to show up on satellite. And this is the area that we might see the development once it's south of the Louisiana coastline and heading toward Texas. And there are still a lot of uncertainties with this system. What we know right now is that it is not organized. Looking at some of the buoys, winds have been gusting within some of the individual thunderstorms, but nothing yet organized. And a lot of folks might notice there's kind of a rotation here. This is an upper level trough, and these storms are developing on the northern end of that. In the near future, we're not expecting any development. The chances are at zero right now. You can really see that upper trough when I widen out here on water vapor. At the moment, the environment is somewhat hostile. The expectation is that we might see some conducive conditions in the Gulf of Mexico as it moves in the next 3 to 5 days. Now, here's what the models are saying. Both the GFS and the Euro are picking up on something, that wave moving in, whether or not it's organized or not. And what's been interesting is that the GFS is starting to almost back off on any real organization. And by organization, I mean maybe some closed circulation where we'd be borderline depression or maybe a depression forming. The Euro kind of holding on to at least a depression trying to form. A little closer to the Louisiana coastline, as I've been saying, would not necessarily be a bad thing. This is going to be a very fast-moving system, so it is not going to have a whole lot of time over the Gulf, probably entering the eastern Gulf Saturday night, early Sunday, Monday south of the Louisiana coastline, by Tuesday night, likely already inland. So it's not going to have a whole lot of time over those very warm waters. Now, as we've been looking at other elements in the atmosphere, one of which being wind shear. Doesn't look like wind shear is going to be much of a factor with this system. In fact, it might help it out with kind of an upper high, allowing for the storms to grow. So that would be one conducive factor. But what might hinder it is the abundance of that Saharan dust and very dry air. Basically, through its duration in the Gulf, it is going to be battling that Saharan dust, which usually puts kind of a squash on anything trying to form. So yes, we've got the warm water temperatures. That's a given in August. You got the wind shear that might help it out, but also very dry air, which could hurt it. And those usually play a big factor. The dry air, that is, a big factor in the organization of these type of systems. Also the steering. It certainly is going to be an upper high dominant to the north, but the GFS and the Euro differ a bit in the exact placement of that high. So here's the GFS's thinking. Little wave moves into the Gulf that stays fairly strong over the Louisiana coastline, and this moves almost into northern Mexico, southern Texas. The Euro, on the other hand, basically the high in the same position, but almost has this little notch in the high where a piece of it is able to build over Florida and move it a little bit closer to the Louisiana coastline. This would certainly give us a better chance for rain and increase our onshore winds by Monday and into Tuesday. If that's the case, then we get more rainfall. If it ends up being the GFS, we may not see much of anything. And that tends to be the trend of a lot of the model guidance, keeping a lot of the heavier rainfall off of our coastline. Also consider the fact that this is going to be a very fast moving system. We're not going to see a whole lot of accumulation. We need the